Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to a live stream. What are we going to be talking about? Well, who knows? It's all up to you, the viewer, and we will put your chats on the screen. Let us know what you're interested in, and perhaps we'll talk about it. What I'll be doing is heading to my Twitter feed, because there's some interesting financial stuff that happened yesterday. And I would recommend that you all follow Peter Schiff. But let me just give you a quick little indication here of what it is I'm talking about. Yesterday we saw something very interesting, as I've been waiting for market signals to sort of give me an indication of what the markets think is going on regarding the U.S. presidential election. So we typically talk about things in the realm of science and technology here on the channel. This time I'll be talking about economic stuff, and I do know a bit about that. So let me just get to this tweet yesterday from Peter Schiff, which I indeed retweeted and commented on. All right, here it is. I'll put that on the screen for you. There we go. Oops. Get rid of the matrix. There we are. And congratulations on being made of condensed matter viewers. All right, so here's what we're talking about here. So this tweet from Peter Schiff 15 hours ago, both the US dollar and treasuries got hammered yesterday. This could be the start of something big. The euro is closing in on 1.21. In other words, $1.21 for a euro. And the dollar index is close to breaking below 91, its lowest level since April of 2018, just 3% above a 6-year low. So that's a serious indication that there is something going on in the market. And look, I've got no confidence in euros or dollars. Sadly, I'm forced to deal with dollars in that the U.S. has legal tender laws in place. So I just wanted to briefly mention that, because here at the Smash News Network, we're interested in relevant data that actually affects things. So yeah, the US dollar getting hammered. And let's actually go to CNBC real quick and see what's going on in pre-market trading. It's 7 o'clock when we're making this stream. Again, leave us a comment if there's something you want us to cover. And I do understand that CNBC has actually been essentially sort of endorsing cryptocurrency, finally. And I'm not going to weigh in on that at the moment. What I'm going to do is see what's going on in pre-market trading. So regarding the equities markets, we're seeing the Dow expected to open down 130 points. So the Dow expected to be down 30 to open today's trading. And let me just put up the chat here, and there we go. S&P expected to open down 8 points. And the NASDAQ expected to open 21 points below yesterday's close. So perhaps that'll be some relevant information for you. Again, if you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/smAsho, you'll see all this stuff. Let's take a look at some more stuff here as well. See if we see any interesting market movers. And we'll talk about some other economic factors as well here momentarily. Again, leave us a comment if there's something you'd like us to comment on. We will cover it. All right, so yeah, US dollar index all the way down at 91.43, $91.43 there. And I'll put that chart up as well. There you go, there's the dollar index. So that to me, I would guess, has to do with the likelihood of a Joe Biden presidency. So when there's real money involved, we would expect the markets to move based on it, and that is what it looks like is going on there. So I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments section. And I don't know if you've noticed the Las Vegas betting odds. I haven't actually looked it up. I don't even know what site to go to for that. I don't really pay attention. Let's see what else is on the CNBC homepage here. Now, of course, I don't know about you, CNBC is not a super trusted name in news. CNBC can be a very busted name in news, unlike the Smash News Network. Least busted name in news. What is up with my shirt? Is it extremely crooked? There we go. Perhaps not as crooked. Perhaps not as crooked as Comcast, right? Were you aware that Comcast owns NBC? All right, so the top headline here is UK approves Pfizer BioNTech COVID vaccine to roll out next week. Now let's go back to markets here. I wanted to also cite commodities prices. Now that we've covered currencies a little bit, at least US currency. Silver is at $24.24 per ounce. There's a one-year chart of silver. And thanks for swinging by, Al Ham and Nabo J. Al Ham says, watching, but only have one thing on my mind right now, the UK to start jabbing people on Monday. Yes, yes indeed, yes indeed. Let me bring up a gold chart. There's a one-year chart of gold, current price $1,829.10, $1,829.10 per ounce. Next, I will take a look at crypto here. And by the way, I do own cryptocurrency. It's a tiny, tiny token investment. And I agree with Peter Schiff when it comes to crypto. I find it to have zero intrinsic value. So the thing about crypto to understand is that crypto is a speculative investment. So just like a stock, cryptocurrency, at the time of a real crisis, could vanish as fast as the value of Dutch tulips, in my opinion. For those people out there saying that, oh, there's value in the blockchain, I consider the blockchain a liability, not value. 128-bit encryption is good enough for your bank, and it's good enough for anybody, as if you don't have the encryption key, you cannot crack a 128-bit encryption code. So I think all the stuff about the blockchain being some sort of intrinsic value is complete nonsense. And I think that is all a bunch of static put out there by speculative investors to inflate the price of their Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the Coinbase exchanges reporting on Bitcoin. And the reason we show specific exchanges is because my account for cryptocurrency is on Coinbase. That's all. So take all of this data with a grain of salt, folks, because there is no consensus on reporting. So things like volume data can be really messed up when it comes to the data that you'll see on cryptocurrency. So there's the 1 year chart for Bitcoin, and it looks like it's reached a bunch of all-time highs yesterday. Here's the all data. So there you can see it's at an all-time high. Don't go chasing the tiger, folks. I mean, look, with all speculative investments, I think it goes without saying that you're supposed to buy low and sell high, unless you'd prefer to lose your cash. And also another problem with crypto is that it is not a legitimate means of exchange, because it's costly to do the exchange. It's not easy to buy and sell crypto. It just isn't. It's nothing like money, but it's a lot like a stock or a bond or any other speculative investment. So the volatility of any sort of a speculative investment is a good thing if you are somebody that's constantly looking at it, as you can make a ton of money on small dips and small rises. So like any speculative investment, not money, way too volatile, and has no intrinsic value. Indeed, U.S. currency is not money either. However, if you're an American, if you're in America, you must accept Federal Reserve notes for all debts, public and private. That's called a legal tender law. And without getting all in the weeds about legal tender laws, you can't demand money, you can't demand payment in real money, which is a thing like gold or silver. Let me go back to the crypto charts here and show you Coinbase and how they're reporting Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency. There's the 1 year chart of Ethereum, and very close to its all-time highs as well. So that double spike there is certainly an indication that, well, this is not investment advice. I am not licensed to give you investment advice. While I used to be a day trader back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and by the way, my portfolio gained money during the 2000 bubble burst. Remember that? The tech bubble, when it burst? My portfolio went up during that because I was paying attention to individual issues. So that double spike there, that is an indication that a sell-off is about to happen. I mean, don't go chasing a tiger, folks. Don't go chasing a tiger. Buy low, sell high. And yes, large traders have gotten into the realm of cryptocurrency. So yes, that is an issue now. So next thing we're going to do is going to look at some headlines on a sort of a trusted name in news, the libertarian news source, Zero Hedge. And if I see any headlines I like, I will start talking about them spontaneously. And I won't spontaneously human combust. By the way, if you're a new viewer, press like and subscribe. Share with your friends and foes on social media. We do all kinds of different kinds of videos, not just ones about the sun and cosmology and astronomy and technology and stuff like that. We got some people going to jail in Hong Kong for defying Beijing. Again, the Pfizer COVID vaccine wins UK approval, being rushed through in an emergency measure because it's a real emergency to vaccinate people against a virus that practically doesn't kill anybody. How many asymptomatic cases of COVID recovered around the world? Who knows? Probably hundreds of millions, if not billions. And by the way, if you're wondering where I stand on things like mask wearing and lockdowns, it is inappropriate to force anybody without symptoms to do anything out of the ordinary. In other words, if you're not sick, it's tyranny to be forced to wear a mask or stay home or close down your business or limit the number of people in your business. It's all nonsense, and asymptomatic people are incredibly unlikely to transmit COVID. So considering the gestation period before symptoms present themselves, and considering the average mortality age is like 80 years old, which is about the life expectancy in the US anyway. And what about the fact that, deaths haven't gone up? Deaths were actually higher in 2018, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that in the comments. So I know I heard Fauci was saying, I read a headline, apparently Fauci thinks that as long as the vaccinations are widespread enough, by next fall, we should have COVID under control, which means, don't worry, folks, just about one more year of lockdowns and mask mandates, and I'm sure everything will be perfectly fine. The economy won't be in shambles, and the U.S. won't look like some sort of scene from Mad Max or anything like that. Pardon the sarcasm. UK minister warns Brits could be denied normal life without COVID vaccine. What say you? Would you like to get a vaccine? I mean, are you worried about this thing hanging above your head here? Personally, I think it's hilarious, as I became a pro mountain biker in 1999, which means I've been out in the elements and pushing my body to near fatal levels for that entire time. And guess what? I never get sick. Why? Well, it's because I probably have a very robust immune system, and I'm also concerned about things like cardiovascular health and nutrition. So if you do things like have vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc sufficiency, your likelihood of, well, I won't say anything about your likelihood, wouldn't want to get the channel demonetized or anything. Yeah, it's an issue. Have you noticed that the alphabet soup of U.S. governmental agencies has been oddly absent? What's going on with the CIA and the NSA and the FBI and the rest of the alphabet soup of U.S. agencies? Let me put your chats back on the screen here as I see a bunch of comments coming up, and I will scroll through those and address those momentarily once I get something more appropriate on the screen as a background. And we'll just put up smashomash.com. All right. And there are your chats. Thanks, everybody, again, for leaving comments. Nabo J says it's not a vaccine by definition. It's synthetic. Could you elaborate on that, please? I don't know anything about the vaccine production. I haven't looked into it because I'm really concerned about natural immune system responses, because I'm one of those people who refuses medical attention in everything but a life-threatening situation, or, for instance, if I've got some sort of an injury that's so bad it would require surgery. But besides that, I laugh in the face of people who tell me that I should go to the doctor. A complete joke. And I've had many different experiences where a doctor tells me something that is utterly incorrect. So I would just recommend that everybody do the fair amount of research that you can. Don't profess to be Dr. Google, but for example, cyclists have a tendency to have very low potassium levels. So I've had this happen myself, and I had to inform my own family doctor that low potassium is a leading cause of high blood pressure among cyclists. He didn't know. He's a young guy. Now he knows. I'm over it. But if you're not paying attention to your own health, if you think a guy that you pay $100 to go see once a year or something like that, who's going to know about your health profile, it's highly unlikely, unless you've been a human pincushion for years. Al Ham has taught his kids that non-genetically modified seeds are tomorrow's gold. And you know, we actually have some genetically modified seeds growing downstairs right now. Why? Well, because if you grow tomatoes indoors winter after winter, as we're doing now, there's actually some ripe ones down there, the seeds that are produced will actually be suited to grow indoors over the winter. So we've got strains of genetically modified tomatoes. Now, they're not artificially genetically modified. They're genetically modified because they live under grow lights on our windowsill. So that's an important factor there, folks. You may be surprised at how well plants that you would like to grow will adapt to growing in, shall we say, non-optimal environments. So I haven't talked a lot about this, especially lately, especially with all the solar activity going on, but one of the things that you may want to consider doing is set up some indoor grows. And the tomatoes that we're growing inside, they don't even want to grow outside during the summer. They don't like the sunlight. They want artificial lights. We also do use fish water. So if you notice, we've got aquarium videos on the YouTube channel. And you can see all of the playlists at youtube.com/smAsho/playlists. And we use fish water to fertilize lots of different things. We've got 2 large goldfish and a large pleco in a 55 and a 29-gallon tank. So there's a 55 and a 29-gallon tank. We're about to upgrade the 29-gallon tank to a 55-gallon tank as well. We just have to buy a stand. Sadly, it has been postponed a bit due to various financial hardships. Thanks for tuning in, Pop Smith, and good morning to you too, sir. And I hope I haven't misgendered you. Again, everybody, I would certainly invite you to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/smashomash. Yes, seeds. Seeds are freedom, folks. If you can produce your own food, not only is it going to save you money, it's going to ensure that you have, food without pesticides on it, food that's grown within your own specs, plus you'll learn something. It's a delightful Zen experience watching plants grow and nurturing plants and so on. Thought you were going to bed, Kimberly. What's up? You having insomnia? And again, thanks everybody for leaving comments. We're going to make this one pretty short here. Maybe another 5 minutes. And bookkeeping, congratulations, bookkeeping. You now earned a wrench also. You've been tuning in regularly. So cheers, bookkeeping. Use it in good faith. In other words, don't really use it at all. Don't mute anybody without asking permission first. It's very unlikely that anybody needs to be censored, as I am highly anti-censorship, and that's part of the beef that I have with Google and Facebook especially, but also Twitter. I'm a fairly new user. We've only had an account there since spring of 2019. I believe March 2019 we opened the Twitter account. So again, follow us there, as there's quite a bit of exclusive content. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/smashomash. We're on Gab. We're on Minds, minds.com/smashomash. And there's a bit different content on all those sites. We're also on Locals, Dave Rubin's site, where you can control your own social network, as opposed to allowing some giant, overpaid, bureaucratic tech company who can't get out of its own way to do it. Nabo J says RNA is not a preparation of killed organism, living attenuated organisms, or living fully virulent organisms that are administered to produce or artificially increase immunity to a particular disease. All right, I'll take your word on it. And perhaps I'll do some research into this, as I prefer to know what I'm talking about, a la Jordan Peterson, before talking about it. Which, by the way, isn't the norm on YouTube. Because there are way too many hack frauds who are paid tens of thousands of dollars a month to outright lie to their viewers. Pop Smith says 19 degrees. And I think we're going to see some more snow here in eastern Pennsylvania as it's creeping in. mRNA is synthetic and has never been used on humans before. Hard pass. Of course, Nay has a certain perspective. I won't talk about Nay's health history in the comments, but Nay, if you'd like to share with the other viewers your health history regarding this particular issue, feel free. Pop Smith says weakened natural isolate versus chemical concoctions. Jim, we hope your wife is doing well. You can always go back and watch the beginning of the video. We talked a little bit about economics, cryptocurrency, gold prices, and the weakness in the US dollar, which I have cited as an indication that the markets may be believing Joe Biden will be the next US president. A tax and spend leftist who does not understand what a balance sheet is. And again, follow us on Twitter. There's some hilarious comments and screenshots about balance sheets. Yesterday, as I like to comment and cause the ratioing of people who follow legislators like Elizabeth Warren. And Liz Warren, if you're watching, ooh! Jim's office has a bed in it. I mean, Kimberly's office has a bed in it. That's pretty epic. I hope you shut the computer down, though. Please shut the computer down. Don't sleep in a room with a running computer. I did that for way too long. And as soon as I stopped doing it, my sleep instantly changed. Also, folks, consumer tip. Make sure your sleeping chamber is completely dark. Wearing a blindfold doesn't count. You've got photoreceptic cells on your skin. You need to be in a completely dark environment in order to get the best possible sleep. And again, thanks everybody for leaving comments. Good night, Kimberly. Good night, Kimberly from Unda. And for you new viewers out there, Kimberly's located in Australia. We've got quite a few, actually, viewers regularly viewing the content from the Southern Hemisphere. Jim G says Biden will not be president of the United States. And I guess on that note, I'll bring up one more little thing that you may be interested in. Check this out. Paul Joseph Watson at Summit.news has reported an interesting story, to say the least. So check this out. Here's the headline. Firm that owns Dominion Voting Systems received $400 million from Swiss bank account funded by Chinese communist government and companies before election. So I thought our viewers might be interested in that. Do you trust software? Do you think that it's an excuse for a company to say, I don't know, I didn't mean it. The software did it. Software is written by people and has an effect on real things. So anyway, I just wanted to cite that little thing there. So let me just, I'll give you a quick rundown here according to Summit.news. And by the way, if you think Paul Joseph Watson is some kind of conspiracy theorist, I don't know what to tell you. I have not heard Paul Joseph Watson say anything that is massively inaccurate. And just so you know, this article right here, it has, again, Summit.news. This article here actually has a clarification at the bottom, which says, editor's note, a previous version of this article incorrectly credited a particular research firm for performing this investigation. That information was erroneous, and the article has been updated to correct that. We apologize for the confusion. It's got the entire document batch there. So basically, what's going on is Dominion Voting Systems operates voting machines in 28 states. And on October 8th, 2020, Staple Street Capital filed SEC Form D offerings and sales amount of $400 million with the sales compensation recipient identified as UBS Securities. If you're wondering who owns UBS Securities, it's Beijing Guoxiang, UBS, Guangdong Com Group, China Guodian, and Kofco Group. Beijing Guoxiang is a state-owned asset. Guangdong Com Group is a 100% stakeholder in the Guangdong provincial government. China Guodian is a state enterprise administered for the SASAC for the State Council. Kofco Group is a state-owned enterprise under the direct supervision of SASAC. SASAC is the State-Owned Asset Supervision and Administration Commission of the State Council and is a special commission of the People's Republic of China, directly under State Council. So I don't know what you've got to say about that, but I'm going to scroll down your chats one more time here, and I'm going to close out this live stream as I've got lots more things to do. Visit the links below the video. Help to support the channel if humanly possible. We greatly appreciate that. Thanks to our patrons. Super Consciousness says global warming. Not that I know of. Maybe it's so cold that it's hot. Or maybe it's so hot that it's cold. I don't know. Jim's wondering if he should build a Faraday room. I would say probably not. It's probably not going to help very much. But again, thanks for everybody leaving comments. I don't know why I'm being so bad at scrolling here. Do I have it on the screen yet? There we go. Bruce sleeps in a cave. Ah, yes. We thought he was talking about being a superhero, which is why we laughed and said the first thing about Batman is tell people that you're Batman on YouTube. Thanks, Red Split Rail Fence, for the thumbs up. Again, share the content in your social media. If you haven't watched today's Daily Space Weather video, check it out. There's a warning about solar flare watch. Keep your eye out. And when I say eye out, I mean keep an eye on those ions and those photons. In my opinion, China is a paper tiger. And I cited this back in probably sometime like March when they started closing down and doing ridiculous things like spraying Lysol on the streets. And you know what? I'm going to show you one bonus feature. I'm going to show you one bonus feature just in case. So here's a bonus feature for you. It's the 3-day graph of the proton flux. And you can see that ongoing proton event. Perhaps subsiding there. I thought it would have subsided yesterday. But you can't be right all the time, folks. But if you're right sufficient amounts of the time, you are good. And yeah. All right, so it's about that time. Again, thanks everybody for leaving comments. One-Handed Red, Bruce, Nabo J, Jim, Red Split Rail Fence, and anybody who I left out, like bookkeeping. Cheers. We'll see you next time. We may make another video today. Who knows? If not, go check out our playlists. Again, visit the links. And if you want to post something, head to smashamash.com/forum. You won't be censored. And we'll see you next time. I've been your host, Dan, the otherwise known as the Vanishing smAsho Mash. And best wishes to you, our viewer.